Well, I'm delighted to welcome to our studio Boakesey, and that's how you would like to be called.
That's right.
We've met a couple of times, and once met, never forgotten. Teacher for how long?
35 years.
Wow. So, this is what we're talking about. Now, we do have to say this is a mock-up, or let me hold up to this and see that. Well, it's your poetry book, isn't it? I mean, that's what you do. And beautifully doing it, I might say. But a brand new book coming out.
Absolutely. It's coming out next Thursday, which is International Poetry Day, October the 1st.
Very nice.
And I feel very privileged to be a part of this project. It started through a gentleman at Exeter University, and then the Poetry Society in the UK got involved, and they've helped with the funding and publicity and everything like that. What they did was they set up initially a website, and they invited people from around the British Isles to submit poems about special places. Now, it could be a poem that they'd written themselves or a poem by a famous poet, but the poems were uploaded to the website, and there was a map of the British Isles for them to put a pin to show where the poem represented. So I thought, well, why not? Because
yes.
I'd been doing some work with Janet Lees, a wonderful poet in her own right, and very motivational. Absolutely. So I'd written a poem about one of my favourite spots on the Isle of Man, and I thought, well, why not enter it? Now, over 7,500 entries went into the Places of Poetry project.
That's a lot.
From those, they whittled it down to 200. And they're the 200 that have gone into this book.
You've made the cut.
And I've made it, and I'm the only Manx entry. So
they put the Isle of Man on the picture at the front
absolutely. They've missed Anglesey out as well, but we can forgive them that.
I mean, what does this do when you hear this, though?
Oh, I'm just amazed. I mean, I'm pleased for the Isle of Man, because most of the poems in the book are just England and Wales. There's no Scottish ones.
Oh, right.
They're hoping to do a follow-up, and that will include all four nations of the United Kingdom, as well as the Isle of Man and the Channel Islands. But, you know, to get the only Manx entry, wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I don't give the poem away, but I mean, what inspired you exactly?
Well, a number of things. The UNESCO World Heritage and the Biosphere status. And I used to live in Derby, and just up the road from me was a very, very special meadow, which is looked after by John Dog.
Oh.
So my poem, its official title is Battle Hymn of the Manx Pastoralist, but I call it John Dog's Meadow.
All right, Mr. Collister, John Dog.
That's
Collister.
right,
Fine.
absolutely. And there was a lady called Arch Garrod.
Yes,
and she did a great deal to help with ecology and conservation on the island. And she had this hay meadow near Derby, and it had never been treated with herbicides and pesticides and all the rest of it. Now John Dog has now taken it over, and he's keeping it going in a traditional way, and you can go and you can see orchids and all sorts of wildflowers, and it's a little bit of magic on the island. Wow. So that's what my poem's about, John Dog's Meadow. And
were you sitting there writing it, or just from your various trips there, or what?
Well, I visited a couple of times, because occasionally John Dog will take people around and show them various things. And Janet was running a session on special places, and I immediately thought John Dog's Meadow.
Yeah. And
I got this, I forget what they call it now, a repeated tune going through my head, which was the battle hymn of the American Republic, and
wow.
John Brown's body, yeah? And I was going, John Dog's Meadow. And it just came from there. So it will fit to the tune, and I've put in there that if anybody's brave enough, they can sing it.
I love it.
But that's not for me to do. I'll just read it, but not sing it.
So, as I say, this is the Real McCoy for Thursday.
Yes, Thursday the 1st of October.
Available at all good bookshops and all that.
Absolutely, yes. And I'm going to go up to Ramsey. Well, I live in Ramsey.
Yeah.
I'm going to be at the Bridge Bookshop on the morning of next Thursday. And they will have copies available, but obviously it's available everywhere else as well.
All right. So you don't know what page number you're on or anything yet?
No, I've not seen a real thing.
Yes.
All I've seen is this mock-up.
I bet you can't wait.
I know.
It's going to be so exciting. And if you don't buy it there, you can always get it online and all these things.
Yes, absolutely. It's on the major websites without naming any. But support your local bookshop if you can.
Indeed, absolutely. Yeah. And what's next for you? Because you're always doing something.
Well, I've currently got a poem in the Douglas Poetry Trail, which is in a well-known newsagent and retailer on the Strand Street.
You can mention it.
W.H. Smith.
Right.
And that's a very, very different poem. That's a bit of silliness about a unicorn. And I wrote that for a friend who just lost her father. Oh. And I just thought something to make her smile. And if it makes other people smile, that's great. And then my third thing, because they do say things come in threes, don't they? I sent a story into the Manx Lit Fest lockdown literature story, and apparently it's won one of the prizes.
Oh my goodness. So, you're right.
Yes.
3 things.
3 things. So I'm going to rest on my laurels now, I think, and let other people have a bit of credit.